Hey, Craig, Dave here, sharing my story about self-empowerment and a moment where I actually had to make a decision to go my own way, even in a situation which seemed really potentially very lucrative. That's the thing they never teach you in Life 101, right? Actually, there isn't a course for Life 101, but one thing I know they wouldn't teach you is how do you handle situations where two things look really good. And so, to be brief about this, there was a potential opportunity for me to work with two other partners, creative endeavor, working with two copywriters, and I had a history with one of the other business partners where we had really non-functional, non-productive, very toxic sort of communication dynamic, and the problem, as I saw it, was that he would essentially shut down and refuse to dialogue with me when something came up. And there was only one interpretation of event, and that would be him being right, which meant that I needed to be wrong. And that was the only way to actually move past an issue. And of course, I pushed up against that. That's just not something that I tolerate. So. That I already knew was in the past. Wasn't sure, perhaps he changed. And as soon as I got involved in the partnership, the same issue came up again. So because it was such a good opportunity, I thought, well, I'm going to take some initiative here and introduce a new way of communicating, a non-violent way of communicating, which I actually learned from a workshop here in Costa Rica. And it's a very specific type of communication. It's called the imago dialogue, and it's when the sender and the receiver in a communication play supportive roles for each other. And essentially there's one-way communication, which is what was needed because we would just talk over top of each other and turn into a shouting match. I don't get angry very often, but for whatever reason, I really pushed his buttons and he really pushed my buttons. So I thought, okay, here's something that's been proven to work. Here's something that will add value to the company, because the faster you can resolve everyday sort of conflicts, the more productive you can be. Introduced this to both business partners. One thought it was great. The other one, who I had the toxic dynamic with, said, nope, no way. I'm not even looking at it. Forget it. So then I said, okay, forget it to this partnership, because my willpower, my energy, my concentration, my creativity is a really scarce resource every day. And I need it not only for this endeavor, but for my other creative work. And what I noticed was when I was in conflict with this individual, it rattled me. It affected me the whole day. And I decided, you know what? I don't need that. I don't care how much money we could possibly make here. If this is going to cause me to be unhappy, I'm not going to delay my happiness in order to receive a big reward later. And that's great. I mean, yeah, we can count money, but you certainly can't. You can recover money, but you sure can't recover time. And for me, this was a tough decision to make, but I'm glad I made it. And as soon as I did, everything felt better. My imagination I felt free. I found my productivity doubled or tripled, and I was just more creative. And I was able to invite some other opportunities into my life that just couldn't wiggle in that space. So best decision I think I've ever made. Tough one, and but one that I'll stand behind.